The palace was alive with quiet tension. The sunlight spilled over Madrid, illuminating the grandeur of centuries-old walls, golden balconies, and the soft hum of anticipation. Today was the day Princess Leonor would marry. The world saw a royal wedding steeped in elegance, ceremony, and tradition. But behind closed doors, a private moment unfolded, one that few would ever witness, a message from a father to his daughter that carried more weight than crowns or jewels. King Felipe had prepared for this day for years, though he had never rehearsed the words he would speak to his daughter. As the morning unfolded, the palace moved with precision. Attendants adjusted gowns, aides reviewed schedules, and security coordinated the arrival of guests. Yet for Felipe, none of this mattered. His mind was solely on Leonor. He remembered the day she was born. Her first cry had filled the hospital room, breaking the quiet like a declaration of life and promise. He remembered holding her small hand and thinking of the future, of the enormous responsibility she would one day carry. But today was different. Today, she wasn't a child in need of guidance, she was a young woman stepping into a life that would define a nation. Felipe approached her chamber, the polished floors reflecting the sunlight in a way that seemed almost symbolic. He paused outside her door, taking a deep breath. The words he would share had to be precise yet heartfelt. They had to honor her growth, acknowledge the weight of tradition, and yet celebrate the freedom of choice she had earned. "Leonor," he said gently as he entered, his voice low and steady. She looked up, radiant in her gown, yet there was a flicker of nervous anticipation in her eyes. It reminded him of the child he once carried across palace corridors, the child who had learned to walk with courage in a world that scrutinized every step. "My daughter," he began, "today you take a step that few ever truly understand. The world sees elegance, a ceremony, a princess marrying. But what matters most is the life you are choosing, the values you carry, and the love you bring into every decision you make." Leonor's eyes shimmered, not with tears, but with the quiet focus of someone absorbing a father's wisdom. Felipe continued, "When I held you as a baby, I could not imagine the strength you would possess, the heart you would show, or the grace with which you would face challenges. Today, as you promise yourself to another, remember that strength and heart will guide you more than any crown ever could." He paused, letting the moment settle between them. In that quiet, he offered a story from his own youth, a memory of fear before a public speech, of doubt in the corridors of monarchy, of learning to reconcile duty with humanity. "You will face the same moments," he said. "Times when history watches, and the world expects perfection. But perfection is not your goal. Integrity, compassion, and courage, these are what will define you." Felipe spoke then of love, not just the ceremonial kind, but the everyday, enduring love that forms the foundation of family and marriage. "Your mother and I have watched you grow. We have seen your laughter, your curiosity, and your quiet moments of reflection. Never forget that love is not always grand gestures. It is patience, understanding, and shared joy in small things. Let that be your guide." As Leonor absorbed each word, Felipe reached forward and held her hands in his. The gesture was simple, yet carried the weight of generations. "I know today will be celebrated in history books. The world will remember your wedding, your beauty, and your poise. But I hope you also remember this private promise from your father: I believe in you. I trust your judgment. I am proud of who you are, and I will always be here as you navigate the path ahead." He watched as a faint tear appeared in her eye, quickly hidden by composure. It was a mirror of his own restrained emotion. They did not need to speak more. The presence, the touch, and the shared understanding conveyed what words could only attempt. The ceremony began, the palace corridors filled with music, and guests assembled. Yet Philippe's message lingered in her heart. As she stepped toward the altar, every measured step carried the weight of his words: courage, love, integrity, and the quiet strength of a father's unwavering belief. Throughout the day, small reminders of that morning message manifested. When Leonor smiled at her guests, there was authenticity in her expression. When she adjusted her gown or greeted dignitaries, there was confidence beyond her years. And when she met her husband at the altar, there was a subtle strength, a calm certainty that stemmed from knowing she was supported unconditionally. Even after the ceremony, when speeches were made and the world cheered, Philippe's message endured. In private moments, shared glances, and quiet gestures throughout the reception, the father-daughter bond shaped the atmosphere. The grandeur of the event was amplified, not just by tradition, but by the emotional resonance embedded in their connection. Later, in the privacy of the evening, Felipe reflected on the day. The palace was quiet, the echoes of celebration lingering faintly in the halls. He thought of the words he had shared, and the silent tears of pride he had restrained. His heart was full, knowing that he had offered guidance, love, and unwavering support. The public would remember the images, the elegance, and the ceremony. He would remember the moment Leonor looked at him and understood the depth of his trust. By nightfall, the significance of his message had settled in both their hearts. Leonor had stepped into her new life with confidence, but grounded in the knowledge that her father believed in her. Felipe understood that the true impact of the day was not captured by cameras or headlines, it lived in their private understanding, a bond strengthened, a legacy continued. Spain witnessed a wedding, but the hidden narrative was far deeper. King Felipe's message to his daughter transformed the event from a ceremonial milestone into a deeply personal moment of guidance, love, and inheritance, not of titles but of values. It was a reminder that royalty, at its best, is not only a public spectacle, but a human connection rooted in empathy, wisdom, and devotion. As the night settled over Madrid, Felipe knew that his daughter would carry that message into every challenge and triumph she faced. The world would see a princess, poised and graceful. But she would also carry the quiet, enduring strength of a father's belief, a gift more valuable than any crown or jewel. That day, history recorded a wedding. Behind the scenes, in the heart of a father and daughter, a legacy of love, guidance, and trust was sealed. King Felipe's words were not just advice, they were the foundation upon which Princess Leonor would build her future. And in that, Spain found a story of humanity intertwined with royalty, a moment that would echo for generations. No one outside the chamber would ever hear the exact words. But the impact was unmistakable. Every smile, every gesture, every confident step Leonor took that day carried his message. His belief was woven into her demeanor, a hidden strength visible to those who knew where to look. The wedding ended with celebration, photographs, and applause. But the most enduring memory, the private truth, was the father's promise, spoken in a quiet room before history unfolded. That promise, filled with wisdom, love, and unwavering trust, became the invisible thread connecting the past, present, and future of Spain's monarchy, ensuring that the young princess would step into her destiny with courage, heart, and the knowledge that she was never alone. In the years to come, historians and royal observers would focus on the grandeur, the gowns, the speeches, and the ceremony. Yet the most significant element of the day would remain unseen by the world. King Felipe's message, simple in its words, profound in its impact, and eternal in its memory, a father's love shaping a queen before she even took her first step as a married woman. And in that private, sacred understanding, both father and daughter knew something powerful. The true legacy of royalty lies not in crowns or titles, but in the love, guidance, and trust passed from one generation to the next. That day, King Felipe gave his daughter the greatest gift possible, not wealth, not ceremony, but belief in her own heart, courage, and the certainty that she would never face life alone.